Hi, my name is Herb Hand. I'm the co-offensive coordinator and offensive line coach at the University of Tulsa. This video will be about our screen packages and our play action passing game out of our spread offense. All right, now before we get into the specifics of the plays that we're going to work on here, I think it's important to cover some of our offensive philosophy, to discuss the whys of why we do things, and then we'll get into the hows and how we're trying to accomplish our goals. Our offense philosophically, we're a spread offense, so the first thing that we're trying to accomplish is we want to stretch the field both horizontally and vertically. We want to force a defense to defend the entire width of the field and to defend the depth of the field. We're going to force the width of the field through our formations and spreading the defense out. And then we're going to attack the depth of the field by throwing the ball vertically and testing the defender's ability to defend the long ball. The basis of the offense is based behind the concept of numbers, angles, and grass. And it sounds kind of simplistic, but what we're trying to look at is, number one, where do we have numbers? Where do we have a numbers advantage to get a hat on a hat and to attack the defense? We're looking for numbers in the run game first. We don't want to have to run against the numbers. We don't want to have to run against overloaded defenses. So we also have to be able to throw with the numbers. So if a defense is giving you numbers to run, then of course we're going to try to run the football. If they're forcing us because they're overloading the box or they're putting too many defenders up there where we cannot get a hat on a hat, then you've got to be able to throw the ball to be successful also. So we're looking at our numbers is one of the basis of the offense. And the second thing is our angles. Where do we have blocking angles to get a hat on a hat and give our guys the greatest opportunity to be successful in executing their individual blocks? And the ultimate goal of the numbers and angles philosophy is to get the ball in the grass. We want to get the ball in the open field where one of our athletes can make a play on one of their athletes. The other way that we're going to pressure the defense is by controlling the tempo of the game. We are a no-huddle offense, and so we want to press the defense from a tempo standpoint. We want to force them to operate at our pace. And that's going to put pressure on that defensive coordinator across the field from you because he's going to have to prepare his kids for a variety of formations and also to prepare them to operate at a fast tempo, which is very hard to simulate through the course of the week in practice. It's very hard to emulate the tempo that we're going to put on that defense. The other thing about being no huddle, which comes along with the tempo, is that we're able to audibilize and make adjustments from the press box because the play clock, we kind of take the play clock out of the equation. And we're able to make our audibles from the press box and get our kids in the best possible play for success. There's many times throughout the course of the game where you make a play call and you look out on the field and you realize that it's not, your guys don't have a great opportunity to be successful on that play, but the play clock limits your ability to audibilize. And by being no huddle and controlling the tempo of the game, we're also able to eliminate the play clock from the equation. Some of the things that we are specific objectives that we're trying to accomplish, number one is we want to execute our system with speed, precision, and physicalness. The speed, that all comes in with the tempo and controlling the tempo of the game and attacking at a fast pace. The precision is what you're doing every day in practice and the demands you're putting on your players to execute. Being a perfectionist and striving for that perfect execution. And the physicalness, the one thing that about a spread offense that we kind of take offense to is when people term our offense finesse. One thing that we'll never be is finesse. We want to operate with physicalness and really pound the defense. One of the other things, number two on our list of objectives, is that we want to be among the nation's leaders in ball security and rushing yardage. And one of the things that we sell our running backs on is that if they take care of the football and they're very disciplined in their reads, that there will be a lot of yards out there on the field for them to gain. And we sell them on that, and the statistics of the offense have really proven that out, that we can be among the nation's leaders in ball security and rushing. Our third objective is to have an explosive and consistent passing attack. You know, one of the key statistics that we look at is pass efficiency. We don't necessarily have to look at our yardage to be successful. We want to be very efficient in our passing game. We want to have the ability to stretch the field vertically and to attack the field vertically, but we also need to have the ability to have a consistent and high completion percentage passing game where we can move the chains when we need to. We were going to establish a tempo in every game. That's one of our specific objectives, is establish the tempo in every game. And then the fifth objective that we have is to be the hardest working, most disciplined, best conditioned team in America. And that really goes back to our training. And when we stress that from day one, that in order for us to operate at the tempo we want to, in order for us to press the defense, we need to be in better condition, we need to be in better shape, and that is a year-round way of life for our players. All right, we want to spend this session talking about our play-action passing game and how we can develop our play-action series to be multiple by changing the formation and changing the action of the play, but also keeping it simple for your kids so they can go out and execute with confidence, and also keep it simple for your quarterback so that he has some consistent progressions in his read progression in your play-action series. We're going to start out looking at a little bit. It's not necessarily what you consider a spread formation, but it's a good way to illustrate how we can start out our play-action series and then develop it along the way to incorporate all of our spread formations. So let's look at this it's a pro set, under center set. And what we want to do is we're going to say that, the reason why we run our play-action game, and really this is more in tune with running some nakeds and things like that to keep your backside defenders honest. But the reason why we run that is an answer to defensive over pursuit coming off the back edge or backside defenders not honoring your quarterback's ability to make it out of there with the football. Okay, so as we start this out, let's just assume right now we're going to start out our action is going to start out to the left. Okay, so we're going to start our play action to the left. We want our quarterback to open. We're going to take that drop step and come back. We're going to get to the mesh point. Our quarterback's got to do a good job of selling the action of the play. Okay, and then as he nakeds back around, he's going to come out to the right. Now, once he comes out to the right, this is where we begin kind of our route progression. Is that we have 4 eligible receivers, okay, that start from the play side and just sort of work their way over, okay? 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. Now, in our play action series, in our naked series, what we're doing is we have these guys are numbered in the formation, and as long as your kids can understand how I fit in the formation, where's my alignment at in the formation, they can then transfer that over to the route package, okay? On all of our naked routes, all right, our number 1 receiver, he is going to run an 18-yard comeback route, okay? We want him to run an 18 back to 16-yard comeback route, all right? Number 2 is, regardless of where he's at in the formation, and as we start switching these formations up, it'll make a lot of sense here to you, but regardless of where he's at in the formation, he is going to get into the flat. Now, how he gets in the flat, obviously, is predicated on where he's lined up. Right now, he happens to be lined up as a fullback. So what we want him to do is we want him to chip his way into the flat, all right? We want him to be about a 5 yards depth, okay? Number 3, who in this case happens to be the tight end, he's going to run what we call the hole route, all right? Which the hole route for us is about 14 yards, 12 to 14 yards, and it's right around that hash, okay? The hash to the naked side of the field. All right, he's going to find that hole and just want to kind of have him settle down in that hole at about 12 to 14 yards depth. And then number 4 in the route package has got the over route. And on the over route, what we mean is if that's the goalpost, he's running right at the middle of the goalpost. and he's kind of the home run shot. You know, if you've got your safeties are running downhill, and number 4, that over route can get inside the corner, and get depth behind the safeties, and you may have a home run shot. So as we go through this again, you know, we start out what direction is the action going? The action is going to the left. We're coming back to the right, so that's where we start our number count. Number 1's on a comeback. Number 2's in the flat. Number 3's in the hole. Number 4 is on the over. And as we adjust our formations, which we're going to show you some different formations here in a minute, but as we adjust our formations, you can see how this can be multiple, how this can create some multiplicity in your naked game. All right, now as we just talked about, you know, to create some multiplicity in your naked game, this is more of a spread offensive look now. Okay, we're still going to have. Let's just say again, we start out with the action going to the left. So the running back action taken to the left, the quarterback is naked and out to his right, okay? We start our count. 1, 2, 3, 4. And number 1 has got the comeback route, okay? Number 2 is going to be in the flat. So how is he going to get in the flat? He's going to work himself inside and run a little snag route. Again, about 5 yards depth, but he wants to sell that little, like he's running to get a backside cutoff block. And he works himself out into the flat. So number 2 is in the flat. Number 3 now, instead of being a tight end, number 3 is a slot receiver, but he is still running the hole route, 12 to 14 yards on the hash, settling down in the hole. And then number 4 is on the over route, which is the middle of the goalpost, okay? So as you can see now, we've changed the formation. We're gone to a shotgun look. We're in a spread look now. But the quarterback still has the same routes to work with. He still has the same progression as he comes out of his off of his fake, and he's attacking the perimeter on his naked, which, you know, one of the key points that we tell the quarterback is post fake is you need to attack the perimeter, you need to take the edge, you need to force those perimeter defenders to make a decision. Okay, now he still has his high-low in the flat, he still has his over route, his whole route coming across the field into the 12 to 14 yard hole, and he's got the over route as the deep shot. Okay, he knows he's got a quick route to the flat also, which is any type of edge pressure. He knows he's got a quick throw to the flat, which you're going to see on our film here in a little bit, how the quarterback you know, is able to come around on his naked with confidence and understanding and trusting the fact that he knows where all of his routes are, regardless of what the formation is. He has consistency and confidence in the route package. Okay, one of our top sort of red zone routes or top ways to run our naked, but we really like this in the red zone, is when we go to our 20 personnel package. Okay, and we're going to run our naked out of our 20 personnel. This time, let's just assume that we're going to start the action out going to the right. Okay, so we're starting our play action going to the right. Our quarterback is coming back to the left now. Okay, so as we number our receivers, number 1, there's number 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so number 1 we know is going to be on the comeback route. Okay, he's running the comeback. Number 2 now is our extra back in the backfield, our full back, our max back. And on the snap of the ball, he's taking the low road, getting underneath the action, getting underneath that flat action, and he is out in the flat. So number 2 is in the flat, right? Number 1 is still on the comeback. Number 2 is in the flat. Number 3, okay, who's our slot receiver now, he's got the hole route, the 12 to 14 yard hole route, right? Still on the hash. And number 4 is on the over route. He's coming over the top and getting back to the goalpost. So we've got a little bit of cross action in the backfield going here. Again, a great red zone route because of the man coverage you're going to see down in that area. And it's the quarterback has got a quick throw right here to the flat with the cross action. And, you know, he's still got his high-low reads in the flat and also his over route coming in behind there. And as well as down in the red zone, it's a great way to get your quarterback. If you got a quarterback that can run a little bit and you know you're going to get man coverage, now he's attacking the perimeter. And a lot of times that, you know, defenses don't account for the quarterback in the red zone as far as our man schemes go. So sometimes it may wind up just becoming a quarterback run where your quarterback can take advantage of his athleticism and make a big play also. Okay, one of the adjustments that we can make off of our naked game is if we want to be able to run the action kind of away from our slot receiver but we still want our fullback in the flat. We want to switch basically our number 2 and number 3 receivers' responsibilities in the route package, and we just tag that with flop. So we would call naked left, flop. So the action's going to start out here going to the left, okay? And our quarterback's going to wind up coming back to the right. And we know that now if we renumber our receivers, there's number 1, there's number 2. Now this guy becomes number 3, and he becomes number 4. Well, we want 2 and 3 to switch responsibilities in our package, which we know that number 1 is on the comeback. Number 2 has always been in the flat, but now we're telling him you're going to switch responsibilities with number 3, so that's going to put number 2 on the hole route. So he'll run a seam route with the option to settle down in that hole, okay? Number 3 now, he becomes the flat effector, okay? So he's going to take the low road just like he would if he was running it back to the single receiver side, but he's going to take the low road and he's going to come out now and he becomes your the flat route, and then number 4 is still on the over route. So we still wind up with number 1 in our comeback. We still wind up with a man in the flat. We got a man in the hole and a man in the over route, but we were able to do that by switching number 2 and number 3's responsibilities simply by tagging the play with the word flop. And that was one way that we just, a little adjustment that you can do to help your play action game, your naked game, create multiplicity, but also keeping it simple for your guys. All right, one other tag that we can throw on to our nakeds, and this is just a way to take advantage of a corner that's being a little bit too aggressive. You run the naked a couple of times, and the corner, let's say we're running our naked this way, our quarterback's naked and out. We got number 1 on the comeback, number 2's in the flat, number 3's in the hole, and number 4's on the over route. And you notice that the corner is really jumping that comeback route. Then we'll just tag that with an X go, okay? And what that tells our X to do now is instead of running the comeback, is he runs a comeback and a go. So he winds up running it out and up on the top end of the route to take advantage of a corner that's being a little bit over aggressive. It's a nice way. Again, we go back to talking about our philosophy, and our offensive philosophy is that we want to force a defense to defend not only the width of the field, but the depth of the field also. And it's a way for us to get a deep ball shot on a defense where a corner is being a little bit over aggressive, and we can force them to defend the depth of the field as well as the width. Okay, we want to talk about the controlling the backside defenders again with the threat of the naked and doing it from a multiple of formations, and how we can be multiple in our passing game and our play action game out of our nakeds, but also keep it simple for our guys in their rules and their route rules, and understanding how they fit into the formation determines what route they're running. Let's go back and look at our action here is starting out to the left. Okay, we're starting our action out to the left. Our quarterback's coming back to the right. So here's our number 1 receiver. So our number 1, again, going back to what our rules are, number 1 is running the comeback route. He's running the curl route or comeback route, okay, depending on how you want to coach that. We've done it both ways. Number 2, who happens to be a fullback in this particular formation, is in the flat. So 1 is on the comeback, 2 is in the flat. Number 3, who's a tight end in this particular formation, he's in the hole, and number 4 is on the over route. So you got our number 1. Number 1 is on the comeback, 2's in the flat, 3's in the hole, and 4's in the over route. And we just keep that consistent, but we can change it up, and again, being multiple, but just by changing our formation and by changing the action in the backfield. Well, again, we would like to have, anytime that we have an opportunity to chip this defender, we talked about on the board, we have an opportunity for our fullback to kind of chip his way out, make sure that our quarterback gets the edge, and that's what allows us to get out on the perimeter and put pressure on those on the flat defender in the perimeter. Okay, you can see the same thing here. This time our number 1 receiver, we're going to start, the action is going to start out to the left. We're coming back to the right. Number 1's got the comeback. Number 2 again is in the flat. Number 3 is a tight end who's on the hole route. We wind up getting the ball to the hole route this time, which is a great route to throw. Number 4 is on the over. Let's take a look at that one more time. So you can see all the routes. Again, you see the fullback is checking his way out, making sure we get a little bit of a chip. He probably could have given a little bit more of a shot on this defensive end to ensure that the quarterback gets the edge. But we're just going to chip our way out. Number 1 is coming on the comeback. Number 2 is in the flat. Number 3 is in the hole. Number 4 is on the over route. You get a nice completion to the tight end for about a 30-yard gain on a naked. And that's what you're trying to do on the naked, is just control the defense, make sure that they are respecting the fact that you could naked out of there. That's going to hold those backside defenders and open up your run game even more. Okay, again, now we're going to change the formation up again a little bit. Actually, this is the same formation. But now we're starting out to the right, coming back to the left. So number 1 has got the comeback. Number 2 is in the flat. Number 3 is in the hole. Number 4 is in the over. And the quarterback's read progression, again, we want to high-low the flat defender, and then we look for that hole route. We want to have a high-low on the flat defender and then look for the hole route. The quickest throw to make is that, just to dump it off to the fullback and let him get his yards. Quarterback does a nice job of selling the run and then getting his eyes around, getting the ball out to the fullback. We want to finish our runs physically, knock people back, and we always want to be going forward at the end of our runs, which you see there our fullback did a nice job of. Now we're going to change the formation up a little bit. Okay, this time we're going to have the fullback, instead of being set weak, is going to be set strong. He's still going to be the number 2 receiver. So we're going to start the action out to the right. We're coming back to the left. Here's number 1. He's on the comeback. Now number 2, our fullback is coming from the backside. Just a way to be multiple in your play action game just by tweaking your formation. So the fullback's sneaking out into the flat underneath the line. Number 3 is still the tight end who's coming over on the hole route. And number 4 is on the over. Again, it keeps things consistent for your kids. It keeps them simple for your kids, but it makes you multiple as far as your play action game goes. This is a great route to run on a 3rd and 3 situation, 3rd and 4 situation, where you can slip your fullback kind of behind everybody. He gets lost in the shuffle and is able to come out the back door for an easy 5, 6, 7-yard gain. All right, here's another formation, one of our top ways to run our naked, which is out of our 20 personnel. Okay, this time we're going to start the action going over here to the right. We're going to come back to the left. Here's our number 1 receiver, so he's got the comeback. Number 2 now, we're going to give a little cross-buck action in the backfield. So our number 2 receiver's coming out of the backfield, but we're giving a little crossing action. So number 1's on the comeback. Number 2's coming out of the backfield into the flat. Number 3 is now our slot receiver. We don't have a tight end in the game. It's our 20 personnel package, but it doesn't change our rules as far as our receivers go, which is, again, makes it multiple for our offense just by changing our formation. Number 3 is on the hole route. Number 4 is on the over. So you can be very multiple in your play action game just by changing the run action in the backfield and by changing the formation, but you're still not changing the read progression for the quarterback, and you're also not changing the route rules for your receivers. Okay, which makes it, again, you're able to be multiple, but yet be simple in your teaching progression, and you won't confuse your kids. Your guys can go out and execute with confidence. All right, another example of the same formation. Number 1 is on the comeback. Number 2 is coming out of the backfield this time. Again, crossing over. We got the little cross action going in the backfield. Now we hit the over route. Here comes number 3 on the over route. Quarterback does a nice job of attacking the perimeter, right? He gets his shoulder square, comes out of his fake and attacks the perimeter, then squares his shoulders up and makes the throw to the over route for the touchdown. This is a great red zone route. You're going to get man coverage down here. You got the crossing action in the backfield by the backs, which can confuse the man coverage, and also you've got the play action aspect of it. And again, it holds those backside defenders, and it will open up your run game in the long run. Here's the same action, but now we're coming back to the slot receiver. Okay, so we know that what we did. We talked about this on the board. This is a flop situation where number 2 and number 3 flop responsibilities. Okay, so we want to get number 3 now in the flat. Number 2 is running the whole route. Okay, so he's running the whole route. Number 1's on the comeback. Number 2's on the whole route. Number 3 is in the flat because we flopped it. Number 4 is still on the over. Now, the one thing, again, we get down here in the red zone, you got a quarterback that can run a little bit. You know, when you have teams that play man coverage, very rarely do they have a man that is assigned for the quarterback, assigned to the quarterback. Usually it's a defensive end. They've got a run-through linebacker here trying to make the play. But we've got the defense displaced here because they're chasing our receivers all over the place, and we've got an opportunity for our quarterback, who's a pretty good athlete, to make a play in space, which again goes back to our philosophy on offenses to get our guys out in space. This is an adjustment that we run off the naked where we want to take advantage of a corner that's being a little bit overly aggressive, and you can see over here, we're going to run our number 1 receiver. Instead of running him on the comeback now, we're going to run him on an out and up. We think we've got the corner where we know he's going to bite on the out cut, and we got a shot for a big play here. But we still run this off of that naked action. And this gives us the opportunity again for a big play. You go back to the base philosophy of our offense. We want to stretch the field both vertically and horizontally. So we're going to make the defense defend the width of the field and the depth of the field, and the depth of the field being the deep ball. So we take advantage of the corner who's a little bit over aggressive on the out, and we turn it up and we tag. So we tag this route and give our kids a chance to make a big play. Quarterback does a nice job here of getting the ball off in space, and with a defender in his face, he's able to set his feet and again throw the ball vertically down the field. Another example of running this naked in the red zone. We talked about this being a great red zone play, and again, this is something that we went to a lot in the red zone, and we had a lot of success. Our quarterback does a nice job of staying alive off the naked and finding the over route for the touchdown. Again, the consistency is what you're looking for in your route running. Okay, having the consistent reads, having consistency in your package, so that your quarterback knows when he comes off his fake, he knows where his receivers are going to be. He knows he's got somebody in the comeback. He's got a guy in the flat. He's got a guy in the whole route, and a guy on the over shot. Same thing here, a red zone route, finding the over route for a touchdown, and a big part in the game. Again, it also goes down to controlling those backside defenders, making the defense play assignment football, and defending both the width and the depth of the field. All right, again, we just changed the formation up. Same action in the backfield. We're still going to get the crossing action, but instead this time there being a slot receiver run the over route, we've got a tight end run the over route. We hit the comeback for a nice little 10, 12-yard gain. But it's a way to be multiple with your play action game, but also keeping it simple for your kids, and that's the main thing. So you can just go out and execute with confidence, and when they're attacking the defense, they feel confident in what they're doing. So one more shot of this, just another change up on formation. Again, we get pressure off the edge. The quarterback knows that he's got a fullback coming in the flat. On the crossing route, he gets a little bit of edge pressure, dumps the ball off to the running back in the flat, and we get a 10, 12-yard gain on a play that could have been a negative yardage play. The quarterback has a lot of confidence right now, knowing that he's got a guy coming in the flat. He knows that that's his hot read and is able to get the ball off quick. Last one here. This is just another formation, another way to change it up. And now we set our fullback offset to strength. We're still going to leak him in the flat, off the play action. Again, the quarterback knows that he's got a little bit of pressure in his face, that he's got a quick route in the flat, and he's able to get the ball off, dump it off to the fullback. We get a nice little gainer. Key in this is, again, being able to be multiple by changing your formations and changing your action, but also keeping it simple for your kids so they can just go out and execute. All right, the next thing we want to talk about in the in concerns with the spread offense is our screen packages, and every screen in the spread offense starts with a bubble screen. The reason you have to be able to throw a bubble screen, if you can't throw a bubble screen, then really you can't run the spread. If you have to have a quarterback that has accuracy enough, and you have to have an athlete out on the perimeter that can run a bubble screen effectively in order to really be able to run the spread offense, because what you're going to find is as the more effective you are in your run game, which again, our philosophy is to run the football and to be physical and pound people. And the more effective you are with the run game, the more people are going to have to try to cheat defenders into the box to try to defend against your run. When they start cheating defenders in the box and you're spreading them out, then you have to have the ability to throw the bubble screen, to force those defenders out of what we call the gray area, and force them to defend the width of the field, which is one of the philosophies of the offense. So as you can see here, this Will Backer is trying to cheat into the box. Okay, he's trying to cheat his way in there. He's trying to serve two masters. He's trying to defend over the top of this slot, but also keep enough presence in the box to defend against the run. And we can't allow him to do that. Okay, and one of the easiest ways to take advantage of that is with the bubble screen. Okay, so on the bubble screen now we're gonna base block the wide receiver onto his cover down. On the snap of the ball, our slot receiver is basically releasing laterally. We want him to press off his inside foot, almost like a skater that's pushing off of his inside foot if he's on ice skates, to get himself to separate himself from the defender that's playing in the gray area. We want to create more separation there. Okay. We tell our running back, we want in our spread look, we want our running back to line up to the call side and then play fake across. Okay, and what that should do is help freeze the feet of the linebacker. Okay, should freeze the feet of the gray area defender. It may even make him sink into the box even that much more. Our quarterback on the snap of the ball again is rotating his hips out, and we want him to deliver a throw, okay, where he can throw it to the upfield shoulder. So if I'm the slot defender or the slot receiver, I want to throw it to my upfield shoulder where I can catch the ball and run with it. We don't want to have a thing where it's thrown back behind me where I get pirouetted and I stop my feet, okay, because that allows the defense to recover and be able to pursue the ball that much quicker. We want to be able to catch the ball on the run and get positive yards. So we want that thrown to the upfield shoulder so he can catch that, and then we want him getting north and south as quick as possible. We want to force this guy, okay, to have to come and play in space. Or we want to force this safety to make a tackle coming over the top. All right, we assume we got a great block here by our split end, and we're forcing the guy that's trying to play in the gray area we want to force them to defend the width of the field on our bubble screen. Okay, the next screen we want to talk about is our double screen. And with our double screen, it gives our quarterback an option to attack the perimeter on both sides. And really, he's able to take the best option for him based on what the defense has given us. So it's really been a very productive screen for us. The rules on the screen, okay, let's talk about what's going on the back end here. Our running back, on the snap of the ball, he wants to get width right now. If we happen to be running this screen to the field, his landmark is to get out to the hash, Okay, we want him to get width to the hash. If we happen to be running into the boundary, we want him to get width to the numbers. Most of the time, we run this with our running back going to the field, so we want him to get width to the hash. Okay, our receivers, they're blocking their cover downs. Okay, on the play side receivers are blocking their cover downs. With the only change up being if we think it's man coverage, we can give a crack signal to our slot receiver, in which case he would push crack through and crack the first linebacker in the box. Because if we think it's man coverage and we crack the first backer in the box, the cover down should go with him. Okay, so that may pull another defender out of there. On the backside, this is the backside of the double screen over here. Our number 2 receiver, wherever he's lined up at, sometimes he may be a slot, sometimes he may be a tight end, sometimes he may be a running back coming out of the backfield, which we'll discuss as we change these formations. But we want him to press up through his cover down. If he happens to be a slot, we want him to press up through his cover down and then work out to the corner. Okay? As he presses vertically through the cover down, that'll buy time for our offensive linemen to get out there and make their blocks. Okay? Now, our quarterback, his first thought is that he wants to throw the swing side of the screen. He wants to throw the ball to the running back. So he's going to take, on the snap of the ball, he's going to take a quick 3, and his first thought is to throw the ball out here to the running back. Okay? If it's cloudy at all, if you've got any type of end where the end is feathering off, or let's say that the one of these cover downs comes up and it jumps the running back, then he can come backside to the split end. Okay? Very, very critical on this play from the split end standpoint. He does not move, for timing purposes, he does not move until the quarterback makes eye contact with him. So he'll actually stand stationary until the quarterback makes eye contact with him, and then he will progress down the line of scrimmage to come get the football. That will help things time up with our offensive line. Okay? Our offensive line rules. And again, all the timing is very critical on this. We talk in our terms of set, punch, release. So our play side tackle, again, play side being to the swing side. Our play side tackle will set. We want him to set. We want him to punch the end up the field. Then he's releasing, and he's going to go and block the flat defender. He's got the flat defender. Now, if the slot is blocking man on, we might wind up with a double team on the flat defender, and that's fine, okay? But he's going to block the flat defender. If the slot happens to be cracking, then he'll peel off and he'll look for the slot's cover down, okay? But he's a flat defender guy, all right? The guard is set, punch, release. We wanted these guys to get up the field, and now he is going to seal and seal that alley off, okay? So we've got, if the slot happens to be cracking, tackles on the slot's cover down, the guard really becomes an alley seal player. If the slot is blocking his cover down, then the tackle can help double team the cover down, and the guard would still be sealing the alley. Okay? On the back side of this, the backside tackle is set, and then he will cut the end man on the line of scrimmage. Very important that we cut this guy to get his hands down in case the quarterback has to throw back. We want this end's hands down in case the quarterback has to throw back to the split end. Okay? The guard, set, punch, release. He is out and he's blocking the flat defender. The center is set, punch, release off the nose, and he's sealing the alley. Okay? Now some other coaching points on this. For our number 2 receiver on the backside, like again, it may be a tight end, okay? It may be a running back. But whoever the number 2 receiver is on the backside, we'll tell him, don't pass one to go to one. If you think you're getting threatened in the flat, let's say the corner bails out and the will backer buzzes out here. We don't want the slot receiver to bypass the will to go block the corner, and then the will backer winds up making the play on the screen if you throw it backside. If you think that he's going to be a threat, block him, and then the lineman will adjust off of you. And our line's done a great job in the past of making that adjustment. So that's our double screen out of our spread formation, and we'll take a look at it out of some other formations also. All right, now another formation that you can run that double screen out of, and you can see everything on the front side here has stayed the same, but another formation you can run this out of is instead of having a slot receiver backside, you can have a tight end backside. What we tell our tight end in this case is that on the snap of the ball, you're releasing flat down the line of scrimmage. Very important that he runs flat down the line of scrimmage. He cannot run at the corner. Okay, he needs to release flat, and then he can adjust to the corner's depth. If he comes off the ball and runs at the corner, and the corner comes downfield, if he reads the screen and comes downfield, the tight end can never adjust back down and get that block. But if he comes off flat and then adjusts to the corner's depth, he should always be in position to make the block. Again, the same rule for the tight end as it is for the slot. If the corner is soft and the flat defender happens to be buzzing out there and he thinks that it may be the flat defender's a greater threat, then we tell him don't pass one to go to one. Make sure you take first threat, and then the line will adjust off of you. But that's just another formation we can run the same screen out of. All right, one other formation. Again, you can see nothing's changed on the front side. Everything's remained the same. Another formation we could run this out of is out of our 20 personnel package. Now, instead of having a tight end or a slot backside, we've got our backside blocker is our fullback or our max back, okay? And he is now tracking for that corner. He becomes the kick out guy for the corner. Same rules apply. If the will backer happens to buzz and he thinks he's going to be a greater threat, then he'll pick up the will and we'll adjust on the run. And this is just another formation that you can run the same screen out of and still get that double screen action. Okay, one other way that we can run this double screen, and this is a great red zone screen package, is if you think you have man coverage, and now we're going to run the screen into the boundary. Okay. We're going to run the play side of the screen into the boundary. So we're going to swing the back into the boundary. And again, his landmark is to get to the numbers, all right? Now what we'll do is we'll tag this with a crack. So now we're going to crack with the play side receiver. He's going to crack the first backer in the box, right? The tackle needs to know that, hey, I don't have a number 2 receiver out here that is going to be blocking the alley. So he will set. When he punches and releases, now he's going on a kick out path to kick out the corner if the corner doesn't fall inside with him. If the corner falls inside, he could log him or wind up kicking him out, depending on how the corner plays it. But it's just a matter of him understanding as I come out now, I'm going to be probably kicking out the corner in this situation. All right? Our guard is still set punch release, and he's going to help seal. All right? On the play side, or on the back side, I should say, we're going to block man on here. The backside slot receiver now becomes the number 2 guy in the screen. And what we'll tell him is that he can bubble out and then come back. And it should time up perfectly if the quarterback has to come back to the backside of the screen. Quarterback's rules are the same. He takes a quick 3, he looks play side. Hopefully he makes the throw play side. If not, he's got his backside of the screen over here. Okay? Now, as far as the backside goes, the tight end now, instead of going to block out on the corner, we're not screening off him, we're screening off the slot, as he blocks the slot's cover down. He blocks the cover down the slot. The tackle still sets and cuts the end man on the line of scrimmage. The guard is set, punch, release, and he's alley, and the center is set, punch, release, and he's seal. So we still have the same rules up front for our offensive line with the exception of our play side tackle who just needs to understand that on this particular screen where we're cracking play side, is that he could be on a kick-out path because he doesn't have a number 2 defender or a number 1 defender to block or number 1 receiver to block the corner, I should say. But this is a great red zone screen when you're expecting man coverage. All right, this next screen we want to talk about is a little play action screen that we run. It's a great red zone screen package, and really good when the defense is over pursuing to your run game. Everything predicated on the fact that the better we run the football out of spread offense, the more it's going to open up our pass game and our play action series and our screens off of that. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to start out by selling the zone action. So everything in the backfield is going to look like zone. Okay, our quarterback will take the snap and he's going to ride the running back across. Okay, and really sell that zone action. On the back side of the screen, this being the play side, on the back side of the screen, we are blocking zone. Okay, we're blocking zone. These 3 defenders or three offensive linemen are blocking those 3 defenders like zone, with the understanding that the ball eventually is going to go opposite of them. So we want to kind of zone them out, influence them, and then pin them, and then reverse pin them. Okay. All right, over here they're just blocking zone. they're blocking man on. Now, on the play side, the call side, okay, again, our number 2 receiver is going to push and then block out. He's got the split ends man. He wants to block out on the split ends man. We want to push it vertical first. All right, the 2 most important guys on here are these 2 linemen. All right, we're going to go and take 3 hard steps inside, right? 1, 2, 3. On our 3rd step, plant your foot in the ground, and then they're coming out flat. Just like we talked about with that with that tight end before, they need to come out flat so they can get down the line and then adjust to the depth of the defender. Okay? So the tackle is coming out to block the flat defender. The guard will come out and he will block the alley. He may wind up, as he comes back out, picking up a defensive lineman if a defensive lineman retraces his steps or something or sniffs the screen out. But he's got to be the guy that kind of seals off the inside out. We get a hat on the flat defender. We get a kick out block here. Our split end is taking 3 hard steps up the field, and then he's retracing and coming down. Now, we don't want him to loop all the way back. We want him to come flat so he can catch the ball, because the further he comes back, the more ground he's got to gain forward to get back to the line of scrimmage. So we want him 3 steps. We want him back to the line and then flat down. We want him to flatten it down, and then his sidewalk, when we talk in terms of sidewalks, is the numbers. All right? We want him on the numbers, and we want him to catch the ball and get north and south and get up those numbers and then react to the danger of being tackled. But we want to get north and south and get up the numbers. And we should have, again, if we're running the ball well, we get the defense flowing. This screen has been tremendous for us in those types of situations. Another way that we can run the screen is a very simple adjustment to it, is we put the back play side, or we put the back to the backside, I should say, away from the screen, and then we sell it off with sprint out action. So now the back becomes a little lead blocker. The quarterback is taking a big 3, small 2, like he's sprinting out, and then he plants his foot, sets his set up on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on his 5th step, he's rotating it around and delivering the ball back away from the sprint out. And we've had success running that both ways. Can we go back and talk about the philosophy of the offense and forcing the defense to defend the width of the field? One of the things that you've got to be able to do effectively, like we talked about on the board, is being able to throw the bubble screens. And the key to throwing the bubble screen, of course, is the accuracy of the quarterback and putting the ball out in front of the receiver where he can catch it and run with it, and it doesn't get pirouetted, which we talked about on the board there. But anytime that the defense is starting to cheat a defender in the box, we've got to be able to throw those bubble screens out there and force those defenders back out of the box so you can run the ball. Also, it's an opportunity to get the ball in the open field and let your slot receiver try to make a play in space. Again, you'll see we're throwing the bubble screen off of this defender here. We want him to have to make the tackle in space, or the safety to have to come up and make the tackle, which, again, it forces them to play assignment football and make plays in space. And anytime that you can get defense to do it, you've got them thinking a little bit, and that's always going to help you out with your run game and keeping those defenders wider, forcing them to defend the width of the field. Okay, we're going to talk now about the double screen and the different formations we can run it out of. Again, going back to what we talked about on the board, our play side tackle, in this case, would be our right tackle. He's set, punch, release, and he is on a track to block the flat defender. Our play side guard, same thing, set, punch, release, and he's working the alley. Our backside tackle should set and cut the end man on the line of scrimmage. Our backside guard is set, punch, release, and he's working out here for the flat defender. Our center is set, punch, release, and he's working backside for the alley player. Okay, always remember our number 2 receiver away from the screen is responsible to block the corner. Okay. Our running back, again, this being a double screen, our running back, he is opening up, he is getting width. In this case, since we're running it kind of into the boundary, he wants to get out towards the numbers, okay? Let's get out towards the numbers, and then his sidewalk is to get north and south. Once he catches the ball, he wants to get north and south up the numbers as quick as possible. Okay? Our slot receiver here did get a crack call. So, we want him to block the cover down, his cover down. Unless he gets a crack call, then he would go and crack the first linebacker in the box. So you can see our play side slot here did go. He got a crack call, so he's going to crack the first linebacker in the box. And then our back is getting up his sidewalk, which is the numbers. We want him to catch the ball and get north and south. If it's cloudy at all over here, again, the quarterback has the option to throw it backside to the backside of the screen. Timing and spacing are very, very important on this screen. Okay, we can see here, this is a great example of the timing of the wideout, okay? Again, we talked about this on the board, but his timing is on the snap of the ball. He is not going to move until the quarterback makes eye contact with him. And then he'll come down the line. That way he's catching the ball in proper spacing to the offensive linemen that are coming out to block for him. You see the quarterback on the swing part of the screen, it's a little bit cloudy. The defensive end runs a little peel technique with the running back. The quarterback doesn't feel comfortable throwing it to the play side, so he's going to bring it backside. Now watch the timing between the quarterback and the wide receiver. Now the wide receiver pauses, he waits, the quarterback makes eye contact, now he comes. Now in this particular play, our offensive line does an outstanding job of adjusting to the tight end's block. The tight end is responsible to block the corner. But again, we go back to the rule we talked about on the board is we don't ever want to pass one to go to one. So you see as the tight end comes out flat, he's getting pressured by the flat defender. He's got a flat release. He feels the flat defender, so he says, I better take him. I don't want him blowing the screen up. So he takes him, and then the line adjusts off, and they do a great job of adjusting off him. In a perfect world, we'd like the tight end on the corner and the line to be able to block the alley and the flat defenders. But in this situation, they do a tremendous job of adjusting off of the tight end's block and getting our wide receiver in the open field. Again, you can see the end. As the end peels, the quarterback, he takes his quick three. He's looking to the swing. The end peels. It's a little bit cloudy. So he comes backside with it, and we wind up getting a big play. Great job by the offensive line, again, adjusting off the block of the tight end. And again, we talk about finishing the run and how we want our guys to finish. We're never going to catch a ball and get knocked backwards. We want to catch it. We always want to be moving forward. It's a great job by the wide receiver at the end of the run here, trying to finish moving forward. Finish physically moving forward. Here's another example of the quarterback coming backside with the screen. We get the running back is running this swing route. Now again, we're running this one to the field, so he wants to try to get out to the numbers, or out to the hash, I should say, and attack the hash and force the defenders to defend with. Well, as you can see here, the linebacker is in man coverage, so he's jumping out there on the running back. Quarterback doesn't feel comfortable with it, he comes backside with it. It's a great job. Again, look at the timing between the quarterback and the wide receiver. Our wideout is just going to stand there and be patient until the quarterback makes eye contact, then he starts to make his way back inside. And again, we talk about getting the ball north and south after you catch it. We don't want a lot of dancing around, running across the field and all that stuff. We want to get north and south after you catch the ball. Guy who does a great job here is our slot working up to the corner. Again, our number 2 receiver is responsible to block the corner. Well, he does a great job here of pressing through his cover down and occupying his cover down to go block the corner. That gives the lineman time to get out on the slot's cover down. Whereas because he was able to press him up as he was going to block the corner, he pressed his cover down up the field, and it gave the tackle and guard an opportunity to get out there and get fitted in on their block. Another example here, you see the end start to peel. The end is not biting on the screen. So we always have the backside screen. That's why we like to run this double screen. It gives us options. Again, this is another formation to run it out of. 20 personnel. Now our number 2 receiver backside is our running back. It's not our tight end. It's not our slot. It's our running back like we talked about on the board. He's on track for the corner, but he doesn't want to pass one to go to one. So as he's tracking the corner, he gets a little bit spooked by the flat defender, decides to take him, and the tackle adjusts off of it. And we wind up getting a positive yardage play. So a good job by the fullback here. He's responsible to block the corner. He's on track for the corner. He feels the flat defender, decides to take him, make sure you don't pass one to go to one. Always block level 1 first, and that way you're guaranteed to have positive yardage. This is an example right here. Great job by the tight end of staying flat down the line to go block the corner. Stay flat, and you can always adjust up. If he'd have run out there and run right at the corner and the corner had come hard up the field, he never would have been able to adjust back and get this block. You can see the end peel, so the quarterback takes his quick 3 and brings it backside to the backside of the screen. End peels, bring it backside. Tight end does a tremendous job with his release angle and staying on his block. Now here's a great job here by our play side tackle, blocking the alley, securing the block of the cover down of the slot receiver. Now we don't have a crack call here, so he's going to go block his cover down. And the tackle does a great job of securing this up. This is about being physical and running people back. Now you watch this fullback. Again, the aiming point when we run this to the field is to get the ball to the hash, and he wants to get north and south down the hash. We don't want him straying much from the hash. We want him getting north and south and run physically down the field. This is a great job of catching the ball and getting north and south and being on his landmark. His sidewalk is the hash. All right, we check this play from the sideline. Again, this goes back to our philosophy again of being no huddle, getting a feel for what we want from up top in the booth. And we like the screen versus blitz. We get a blitz situation, so we call the screen from up in the press box. Quarterback does a nice job of getting the ball out there where our running back can run with it, catching the ball without pirouetting and putting it out in front of him where he can run. Our running back gets downhill. Now watch the left tackle finish the block. Left tackle comes out and gets a great shot on the slot right here. Gets a great shot on the slot's cover down to finish it off, and our running back's able to get into the secondary. We want to make those safeties make tackles. Just like we talked about under our philosophy. We want to make those safeties make tackles. Now this is a situation here where the defense covers both of the screens, but they forgot to cover the quarterback. So he looks over to the left over here. He's going to throw the play side of the screen, and the defensive end is feathering out. So he comes backside, and they've got the backside covered. Well, that doesn't leave many defenders left in the middle of the field, so our quarterback, being a tremendous athlete, he's able to just take off and run with it. You know, this is an example of getting the ball in the grass. It wasn't how the play was drawn up, but this guy, this number 5, this quarterback makes a tremendous play here just by being an athlete. And again, we got the ball in the open field. Look at all that green space. All right, that goes back to our philosophy. Let's get the ball in the grass. We get the ball out in the grass and let our athletes make plays. That's what the spread offense is all about. Last one here. This is going into the boundary. Now, this is an adjustment one, which we talked about on the board. Okay? We're going to crack now with our X. We're running it back into the boundary. So our X receiver, this is a great red zone screen. It's the same as our, we're still going to have the double screen going, but our X now is going to crack the first defender in the box. Our tackle will set, punch, release, and he'll be out. He's now looking to kick out the flat defender, whoever's out here in the flat, okay? The backside slot receiver now becomes the backside screen guy. He's the double screen guy, okay? So if the quarterback had to come backside, he's throwing it to the nearest receiver to him. That allows our tight end now is going to go and block the slot's cover down, and everybody's rules stay the same. Tight end blocks the cover down, or the cover down of the wide out outside of him. That becomes our backside screen guy. course, we get the flare screen off. We get a good, not a great crack block, but a good enough crack block on the inside linebacker. Our tackle comes out, gets a tremendous block on the corner, and we're able to score. We're putting the ball in the end zone. It's a great red zone screen. It's just another way that you can formation people. We go back to talking about our base philosophy is that we want to be a formation-based team. So we're finding formations where we can take advantage of what the defense has given us. This next set of screens, which we talked about on the board, is our play action screens. And this is based off of our zone play, okay? Based off of our zone play. Just like we talked about on the board, we want to sell this on the backside. We want these linemen to be 1, 2, 3 hard steps inside before they come out, and they're coming out flat. They're coming out flat down the line of scrimmage, okay? Our slot receiver, our number 2 receiver to the backside is, again, responsible to block the corner. We want him to press up through his cover down before he works out to the corner. That buys time for our offensive lineman to get out there. And again, our running back and everybody else on the front side is just selling the zone play. This is all built in off the zone. It's a great play action screen when you got that zone play running. Again, you get down in the red zone and you want a little answer. Keep the defense honest. Make them run around the field and defend the width and the depth of the field. This is a great way to do it with a little play action screen. Again, we get down in the red zone. And we're looking at blitz. We get exactly what we want. We know we're probably going to get pressure down here. We love this screen versus man coverage. Our slot receiver does a good job of pressing up through. Like to have him block the corner. I mean, press up through your cover down and then block the corner. But our tackle does a tremendous job of coming out flat. So we talked about after the zone fake. We want to sell this on the zone. Is to come out flat down the line of scrimmage. That way, if we do get leakage, you're able to pick it up. And we end up getting the ball in the end zone versus the blitz. So 3 steps in, then flat down the line, and we get the ball out in the grass. Which again, going back to the basis of our offense is to get the ball in the grass. Now, on this particular one, we're going to change it up, just like we talked about on the board. Now, instead of selling the zone play, we're going to sell the sprint out. But it's the same screen. It's the same screen. It's no different for anybody at all, just a different action in the backfield. We talk about getting the ball north and south after the catch, staying on that sidewalk of the numbers now. This is a numbers screen. We want to get on that sidewalk and get north and south. The receiver does a tremendous job of doing that. Just a different way to run it off the sprint out action rather than the zone action. Catch the ball, get north and south. All right, last one here. Again, we're running this off the sprint out action, just out of a different formation. We always want to try to change the formation up, make the defense think about how they have to line up and what we could possibly do out of these formations. And we just line up and run the same screen that we have been running, but it's just a different formation, a different action. And we love these screens down in the red zone where you think you're going to get man coverage. See the linemen do a tremendous job here of selling this. 1, 2, 3, stick your foot in the ground and come out flat. Wideout does a great job of getting north and south. There are many versions of the spread offense with no two really being alike. What we've had a lot of success with in our version is being able to run the ball effectively, pass the ball consistently and explosively, and force the defense to defend the entire football field by stretching them both vertically and horizontally. I hope that these tapes will help you achieve the type of success that you want in your version of the spread.